Chào mừng quý vị quay trở lại với phần 2 của chương trình Đồng tiền thông minh ngày hôm nay. Và trong phần này thì chúng tôi sẽ tiếp tục thảo luận về chủ đề về đầu tư định cư tại Hoa Kỳ với chương trình EB5 và dự án Lake Point tại miền Nam của tiểu bang Florida, Hoa Kỳ. Trong phần này mời quý vị cùng gặp gỡ với hai vị khách mời. Xin được giới thiệu ông Just Laird là Managing Partner của Lake Point Holdings và ông Jose Latour là Managing Partner của American Venture Solution Regional Center. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
So let's, before we get started, let's talk about Lake Point project first. Could you tell us briefly about this project and why do you offer an opportunity for the EB5 programs?
Lake Point is a mining operation in South Florida, and we mine limestone aggregate for road building, concrete, and cement. And we support the infrastructure and the maintenance of the infrastructure in South Florida, which is one of the largest metropolitan areas in the United States. And we were approved as an EB5 investment by the U.S. government, and we have 40 slots available for foreign investors to invest. They can invest and ultimately get their green cards in the United States.
Okay, so why do you think this project is a good one for a foreign investor?
Well, the Lake Point project was very different from a few different concepts. First of all, the mine was already an operating and licensed business before we brought in the EB5 component. Most EB5 projects are forward-looking, so that was one important thing. The other part of it, which is really the main issue, is when looking at an EB5 project, the most important thing is to consider who the U.S. partner is. And typically it's very rare to see an EB5 project that has 5 or even 10% of the money in place by the U.S. partner. Usually they're trying to get 90 to 100% overseas. In the case of Lake Point, because of the timing and at the time that Judd and his group decided to pursue EB5, 80% of the capitalization was already in place by the general partner. So that reduces the risk substantially. Yeah, it's a 20% capitalization by EB5.
So why do you need an outside fund for that 20%? Did you need it? Or?
We don't need it. We wanted to. Well, the 20% is an alternative form of financing. It replaces additional capital that we would have to put in. We're using those funds to increase the size of the business, increase efficiency, and it ultimately increases the value of the deal. We're also using Lake Point as a platform for future businesses. Most likely the business that'll follow this one will be a trucking business, and we wanted to use our success with the Lake Point as an EB5 vehicle to fund other related industries, other related businesses. Trucking is most likely the next likely business for this. And so that was one of the main reasons. And we do have to continue funding the ongoing growth in the business. We reinvest our profits, and we're investing more capital on top of that. New plants, new trucks, new equipment, more employees. It just makes it more valuable. It makes it more efficient. It increases our revenues, and increases at the end of the day, increases the value of the asset.
Okay. So how is the possibility of success for the clients when they want to apply for this program?
Well, when I first started doing this, as I mentioned to you before, it took me a long time to get comfortable with EB5. I've been doing what I do for a long time. When I started, there were only 39 approved projects. Today, there's over 400. The key to the success is in selecting the right project and the right representatives and the right general partner. In our particular case, there wasn't a vision, hey, we're going to do something in the future, let's go get the foreign money. This was something that was going on, and I've been working with Judd for 20 years, and I said to them, look, why don't, instead of you guys writing that last check, why don't we try to raise some foreign investors? People will get their green card. It's not your money, and you get some partners. And they said, let's give it a shot, and it's worked out very well for us.
So how can clients clarify their access to in order to join this program?
Access is really a function of due diligence, and that's where going through someone like Harvey Law Group that is a licensed attorney that's in the business of global migration. It's as I was very reluctant until I was able to structure this EB-5 exactly the way that I wanted to, which I was given free license to do so by Judd and his partners. Harvey Law Group has been here, a long time, and this is the first project that they said, okay, we're comfortable. So pre-screening is the answer. Getting intelligent information as opposed to, aggressive marketing. That's the safe way to proceed.
So Harvey Law is the one who's in charge of making sure the clients get good preparation for this project. You're saying that, right?
I believe that they are, but I believe that their more important role is as a gatekeeper because, we're typically contacted, 5 or 6 different groups a week want to be able to market. And we have to be able to say, no, when we don't believe it's in the interest of the client. In the case of Harvey Law Group in Vietnam, as you know, reputation is everything, particularly in this part of the world. And so it has to be a very sterling offering for Jean-Francois to be able to put it on his agenda.
So for an EB-5 program, what seems to be the biggest risk?
Well, I think there's the single biggest risk. There's really 2 risks. One is what's going to happen to your money, and the other risk is what's going to happen to your residency.
Okay.
If it's an approved regional center, which it has to be before they're allowed to collect investor funds, then the probability of getting the initial 2-year conditional residency is very high. There's a very small rate of denial for the first 2 years because from the point of view of the U.S. government, you're putting in the investment and you're saying, I'm going to do A, B, and C over the next 2 years. The hard part is when those 2 years are up, you have to document that you did exactly what you said you were going to do. And even with the most honest, legitimate U.S. general partner, when you're starting from point 0 and looking at a project going forward 2 years, things change, problems come up, priorities change, and that's really where the risk is in losing the continued permanent residency.
The United States government's looking for each investor to create 10 jobs.
Okay.
So so after they've been approved and their money goes into the investment, 2 years later, the United States government looks back and the company, the business, has to show that it invested the investor's money and the jobs were created. And that could be the risk of the investor is saying, well, is my money going to be deployed in time so that I don't get rejected or denied by the U.S. government 2 years later for my green card? That's where the risk lies.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll come back after a short break. Thank you. Thưa quý vị, vừa rồi là những chia sẻ của các vị khách mời xung quanh chương trình EB-5 đầu tư định cư tại Hoa Kỳ với dự án Lake Point tại miền nam của tiểu bang Florida. Quý vị có thể xem lại chương trình này trên trang web đồng tiền thông minh fbnc.com hoặc là facebook.com/đồng tiền thông minh. Chúng tôi sẽ còn quay trở lại sau ít phút nữa.